Best type of exercise or the best workout is one that you personally enjoy.
But acknowledge that straight.
Gaslight yourself into thinking you love exercise, and then eventually you'll gaslight yourself so hard that you'll actually just believe that you like exercise.
Wait,
What's up,
does
y'all? This is Snowflake. I'm just a guy who likes to react to health and fitness content. A little bit about me: I do have a bachelor's degree in physical education, teacher education, so I'm trained to be a PE teacher. I have had a ACE certification for personal training for about 4 years, and before that I was ISA certified as a personal trainer. So today I'm going to be taking a look at Sporty Beth. I believe I found her from Chikara Transformations, and I didn't watch the entire video because I kind of liked what I was seeing and I wanted to have a genuine reaction. So without further ado, let's give it to Sporty Beth with how I stayed consistent with my fitness journey for 9 years: weight loss, weight gain, recovery. Let's check it out.
I've gone to the gym consistently for over 9 years, which is around 2,250 times if I average out the amount of times that I normally go to the gym. In the early years, it was probably more than that because I was pretty...
That is insane. I do not be doing CrossFit stuff like that. I am a very hypermobile person, and when I tend to do stuff like this, I just get insanely injured.
Extreme and going 6 to 7 days a week. Now I average about 5 days a week doing some form of fitness. And I'm going to talk you through exactly how I stay consistent and exactly how you can do it as well. Firstly, I found a sport that I enjoyed. This is not entirely essential, but it is super helpful. If you find something that you really like, it makes it so much easier to go to the gym. But I also want to...
Yes, and that is literally what the science tells you is the best type of exercise or the best workout is one that you personally enjoy.
Acknowledge that a lot of people really don't like a lot of forms of exercise, and if you're one of those people, then you need to find something that is the least bad option.
Right.
And did you also know, if you really hate all forms of exercise, if you do something consistently, like for me when I started running, I hated running, but I started running consistently and I started to love it. And I looked up a load of studies on this, like, how is this happening? Why am I suddenly enjoying running when I used to hate it? And apparently sometimes just the exposure effect of doing something more makes you enjoy it more. So don't think that you're stuck hating exercise for the rest of your life, because that's not necessarily true. And there are so many different kinds of exercise out there now that I'm sure there is something out there that you can find that you might enjoy. It could be something like dancing or walking, or I always see those videos of people boinging up and down on those rope things. That looks like so much fun. Or like
Look, these people might get a lot of hate, but that looks like so much fun. It's like zero gravity workouts. Like, that looks like a ton of fun.
Cleaning, anything like that could be so exciting. It doesn't have to look like traditional going to the gym. It doesn't have to look like these trends where people are walking on a specific incline for a specific amount of time. You need to find something that fits.
She's talking about the three, what is it, like 3, 12, 30, like 3 speed, 12 incline, 30 minutes, something like that went viral a few years ago.
Your goals and what you want to do and what you think would be fun. For me, going to CrossFit is what started me, and now I don't do as much CrossFit anymore, but going to a class with other people really helped me go more frequently because I wanted to go to see them, and also I got motivated when I got there because they push you, they encourage you, and it's a really nice environment to be in. And it's the same with other fitness classes. I did my first ever spin class the other day because I've been such a CrossFit person for such a long time.
Oh, I just can't. I can't get used to the spin seats. It hurts so bad. I prefer the bikes that like have like movie theater style chairs where you can like lean back and you're like super comfy.
The idea of doing anything else outside of CrossFit's a little bit toxic in a lot of ways, and basically they make you feel like you're being unfocused.
CrossFit's like whatever. I haven't really looked into it in quite some time, but like when I was like doing a lot of research on it like 4 years ago, I just found that a lot of the coaches were just not certified in anything that meant anything, and as a result they create these like workouts where they don't teach proper form or proper like safety precautions. or two, they just make the workouts so hard that you're going to inevitably hurt yourself. I hope everybody knows that, like, you do not have to work out like the people you see on Instagram to look decent. I promise you, you don't have to do the workouts that she is doing to look good or to be in shape. You can do it in a much safer way.
Not the coaches specifically, but just like wider CrossFit space, if you do anything else outside of CrossFit. So although I wanted to do a spin class for literal years, I hadn't done it because I was like, this is a distraction. But the other day I went and I loved it, and there was a similar community. There was other people there, the coach was really pushing us, and it was so much fun. And today, Hyrox is coming up quite a lot now. I did a hybrid class today, which was kind of Hyroxy focused. So we did like sled pushes, we did ski erg, some dumbbell movements, a little bit running on an assault runner. And again, it was a fun class with nice people.
I think I enjoyed the intensity level of those clips rather than the CrossFit one. CrossFit just seems very powerful and kind of like almost uncontrolled. And there it felt like she was in a more controlled, slow, and safer workout environment to me.
Really nice coach that was encouraging you and pushing you. And if that's what you need, then you could do that instead. You don't need to just turn up to the gym on your own at 5 a.m. like all of these influencers are doing and try and push yourself to do that for the next 10 years.
You know, what works for you may not work for other people. I've tried so hard to be an 5, 6, 7 a.m. workout person, and it just isn't for me. I even tried to force myself by telling my manager that I wanted to open the gym, and it ain't. No. My eyes started twitching uncontrollably by like week 3, and I was just like, I can't keep doing this. Like, who am I kidding?
Find something that works for you. Next, we've got time blocking. I personally love a routine, and I know that's probably quite unusual, but I actually find it really hard to break a routine once I'm in one. Does anybody else feel the same on that? Yeah. So I time block my exercise into my routine the same way I do anything else. So like my job, I time block that into my routine. Any other things that I have going on, like my daughter, she goes to like baby classes. I've got a little 8-month-old, and she goes to baby group on a Friday. I time block that in, and I view everything the same. It's not like I can just get rid of a workout just because there's something on that's a bit more busy. I do it anyway because I know that it's good for me. I know it's good for my mental health, so I keep going. If it's on the calendar, if it's time blocked in, I'm doing it. Another challenge that I have faced is that I am navigating eating disorder recovery. So I struggled with an eating disorder for quite a long time. Since I was about 13, I'm now in my 30s. And I'm still working on recovery. And my body size has fluctuated a lot. I've been skinny, I've been in a larger body like I am now, I've been lots of places in between, and I had to start detaching my fitness journey from what my body looked like. So I couldn't focus on weight loss. I couldn't focus on looking a certain way, having a certain aesthetic, having a sick.
Exercise should definitely be more about like non-aesthetic goals. You should try to have goals that relate more to like improving your everyday function, strength, endurance, things like that.
Back or whatever. I had to focus on how it made me feel and what my body could do. And at the moment my goals are just to be able to carry my daughter on long hikes and to be able to be fit enough to do something like a Hyrox, like a competition that I enjoy, and maybe just to be able to deadlift really heavy. Like, my goals are a bit more minimal than they used to be, but none of them are based on how my body looks. And you don't need to have an eating disorder for that to be the way you look at fitness. You can just look at fitness that way because you want to, because maybe dieting feels exhausting for you and you don't want to do that anymore. And also because BMI is bullshit and the scales are bullshit. Like, if you're weighing yourself, the scales don't know the difference between muscle and...
Right, so you have to keep in mind BMI. There's also hip to waist ratio that you look at and how much muscle mass the person has.
fat. So if you're getting fitter, if you're getting stronger and you're gaining muscle by volume is much heavier than fat, you are going to gain weight. And that's probably terrifying for a lot of you, but you will be getting fitter. And getting fitter and having more muscle and getting better at sports that you enjoy is so much more important than what your BMI is, because BMI is just, it's complete rubbish. I'm so against BMI.
It's just a tool for doctors to use along with a lot of other tools to help diagnose certain health issues. It is mostly bullshit. I think a lot of the doctors probably know that, but I think a lot of overweight people also use that buzzword as an excuse as to why, they don't want to get healthy or whatever. They're like, well, BMI is bullshit, so I'm healthy or whatever. Look at the bodybuilders.
To have so many mindset shifts over the years, and the way I view fitness is constantly evolving. When I started, I was mega into CrossFit. I really wanted to be a competitive CrossFitter. I was quite competitive in
the way most people start is like wanting to look hot or whatever. That's certainly why I started exercising. I wanted big biceps in high school or whatever, and over time I just realized that it made me feel much better. My performance in sports and video games would improve on days that I exercised. Yeah.
I wasn't that good, but I did over 40 competitions, ended up doing, I think it was 13 in 1 year, and 11 of them were podiums. I've got some of my trophies and medals from other things that I've done up there. We won a lot of competitions, second and third in a lot of competitions. I was okay, and that's what I was really focused on, and I was focused on the external validation of getting on the podium and being good. And then I realised how bad that was for me. Although I was literally winning competitions, I felt horrendous about myself. I felt like I was so rubbish at gymnastics that I needed to improve. I would berate myself after doing a competition. I'd be so horrible to myself because I felt like I could have done better. Even though we were standing like on first place, and oh my god, if I came second, I felt so much worse. Even though second is something to be massively proud of, I would just feel so bad because if I had just done something slightly better, then maybe I would have come first. And it's heartbreaking because I should have been enjoying those competitions that I did. So I had to shift my mindset, and this was also part of the ED recovery, to doing competitions for enjoyment, doing something that I want to do just because I want to do it, and everybody else can control their own performance. It doesn't matter what I do on the day. Like when I did the High Rocks recently, I just did it to complete it. I'm not going to get a world record, I'm not going to podium a High Rocks, and my goals had to shift around that and around training. So I wasn't training for competition anymore, I was just training for fun and enjoyment. I was just training for something because it makes me feel good. I was just exercising because it's good for my mental health and my physical health, because I like it and because I found stuff that I do like. And everything that I like has changed over the years as well. I had a triathlon phase, obviously I had my CrossFit phase. I'm now in a bit of a hybrid training phase when I'm enjoying running, which is crazy because I hated it 6 months ago, and now I love it. And now I'm like itching to get back on my road bike, and I did my first spinning class the other day. I want to try some new things. I want to do maybe a little bit of like boxing. I've done some martial arts before and I want to dabble in that a little bit more, and I definitely want to swim more. Summer is coming and I live in a coastal region of the UK, and I want to get back in that sea and just do some laps just for enjoyment. Just enjoy it. Not even tracking the distance, just bask in the beautiful sea and the countryside. I've also had to massively balance my fitness with my life changes. Obviously I got pregnant a couple of years ago, and I was always going to train throughout my pregnancy. I had a really rough pregnancy in lots of ways. I was very, very sick the whole time, but I still continued to train throughout because, for one, it's really...
I knew a couple girls that continued to do CrossFit when they were like super duper pregnant. Baby came out completely fine and healthy, but doesn't make it any less scary. I'm like, yeah, that barbell falls on your baby belly. Like, oh my God.
Essential to my mental health. I will literally go completely loopy if I don't train, if I don't exercise. And that's not an exaggeration at all. I've got bipolar disorder and it's really, really important. So I trained during pregnancy, but I reduced the intensity, I reduced the amount of sessions that I was doing, and I completely got rid of all of my goals, because my goals were just to show up and to move my body whilst being pregnant, because moving, even lifting weights, doing exercise, doing whatever you were doing before during pregnancy leads to a healthy pregnancy. And I got to the end of my pregnancy, despite being in a larger body, without gestational diabetes, without preeclampsia. It potentially prevented a lot of other adverse health outcomes that are controllable. And then obviously postpartum, I had to get back into some form of exercise. I really struggled with the first 6 weeks because I wasn't really allowed to lift weights or do much, so I just focused on walking and moving my body and what worked for me right then. I also had an emergency C-section, so
Why? Oh, I just got it. I was like, she had an emergency C-section. That's why she couldn't lift weights.
I had to be really careful when I started exercising again. My goals had to massively shift. And then I decided that because I knew that I couldn't get back to where I was previously in CrossFit or whatever I was doing before, because CrossFit is so much, there are so many skills to get good at, and I frankly don't have the time. Especially with my little one. Like, I want to be spending the time with her. I don't want to be in the gym. I'm constantly adapting and changing what I do to fit.
Well, CrossFit also, like, people talk about like functionality of exercise. It's just like, I don't know what's very functional about doing like the Olympic lifts, like clean and jerk. I don't know how that's applicable to our everyday life. Now, like a front squat, I get, because like I be going outside and like picking up limbs and logs and stuff, and I can like hold them on my shoulders while I get up and down. That's helpful.
My current lifestyle and my current goals and not focusing on what other people think I should be doing, like losing weight. The whole internet thinks that I should be losing weight, but I can't focus on that because I've had an eating disorder. So I just focus on what I do exercise for and what I'm doing it for currently.
I don't think anybody should give anybody else a hard time, for like not losing weight or whatever. But what is frustrating, and I'm not saying that Sporty Beth is doing this at all, because this is my first video watching her, but like for other people who have like been on the fitness journey and they like want to lose weight to save their life, but then just like drag the audience on for like 10 years and not lose any weight, that's when it becomes like frustrating, you know what I mean? And like, but at the same time, it's like, girl, I don't care if you lose the weight or not. It's not me who's going to be, soon. But it's just, it's nice to see people follow through with what they say they're going to do.
And fit it within my life. But I never think about dropping it. I'm never going to stop doing it because it's always adaptable. You can always change it to fit where you are right now. Even if you're a mum and you literally cannot leave the house, you might be able to fit in something small, like a 10-minute workout in your living room, maybe even just holding your baby doing a 10-minute workout. Or you could even do something called movement snacks, where you're like doing squats by the kettle or just getting your steps up. There are ways to be consistent and continue your consistency in the seasons of life where everything gets a little bit hard. And all of those seasons of life are completely temporary, and you'll get back to it eventually. You'll get to a point where you've got more time and you can do a little bit more, but just do what's right for you right now. If you want a workout that only takes up 10 minutes, I do have a program for that. They'll be linked in the description. There's a dumbbell option and an equipment free option. I wanted to make a program that's much more accessible but also effective. Now, this is a massive thing that people get so wrong. They go all or nothing straight away. And we're in February right now, so a lot of people will have already fallen off their fitness journey because they went so hard in January they completely burnt out. You need to listen to your body, and that's hard. If you don't know how to do it, you've got to learn what your body feels like when you need to rest, and the difference between when you just can't be bothered to go because you think it's going to be rubbish, which today is exactly what I thought, but my body was fine, my body was well rested, so I went anyway. But then there are other days when you feel completely broken, like you've been run over by a bus and you need a rest day. At a bare minimum, you need at least one rest day a week. I would say you should have at least 2 rest days a week. If you're going from 0 to doing...
Now, depending on what your fitness level is, like for me, sometimes a rest day is just walking for 30 minutes. I'm still doing stuff, but it's just not at the level that I'm used to doing stuff, And if you're a person that likes daily consistency, then it might be good for you to do something every single day in order to keep that habit, even if it's not, super intense. You can walk in the pool if you need to, you know what I mean?
6 sessions in the gym a week, you're going to burn out. That's just a fact. Start small. If you're not exercising right now, then start with 1 session and then maybe build up to 2 and then maybe build up to 3.
Or even less than that, just drive up to the gym. Like, I know a lot of people have anxiety around going into the gym, and sometimes you got to build up that routine. And maybe one of those days, you'll be in the parking lot and you think, today's the day. Maybe I'll just go in and walk on the treadmill or whatever. And then that's going to build on itself and snowball into you eventually going and lifting some weights at the gym,
Go from 0 to 100. And you can focus on how the workouts make you feel rather than trying to lose weight or checking the scales every time you've done a workout. Are you feeling fitter? Are you feeling more energized after a workout?
Yes.
Does your mental health feel better? And once you start reinforcing that exercise makes you feel good, it makes it so much easier to continue to go. But
gaslight yourself into thinking you love exercise, and then eventually you'll gaslight yourself so hard that you'll actually just believe that you like exercise.
It does hurt quite a lot. If you're doing something that's new for your body, you do get what's called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, and you will get that for about 6 weeks, especially if you do something like functional training. It's gonna hurt, but that does pass. And that kind of soreness you can push through a little bit. So like I said, start with 1.
You really shouldn't push through soreness, but you can walk through it. But say your hamstrings are sore, you definitely shouldn't do leg day, because that's just going to be counterproductive for honestly what you're probably trying to do.
2 sessions a week, but don't skip the second session because you're so sore. Moving will actually make that soreness feel a little bit better. And then the more you do it, the less likely you are to have that soreness because your body adapts to doing that sort of movement. But that's a really hard part about starting to exercise, as you get so sore. And remember,
well, yeah, but if you follow the principles of progressive overload, then you most likely will continue to get sore. It's not going to be the level of soreness that you experienced when you first started exercising, but you're most likely going to get sore. The only time I don't experience consistent muscle soreness after exercise is if I'm in kind of an intense calorie surplus and I'm doing workouts that are higher weight, lower volume type stuff.
But consistency isn't looking absolutely perfect every day. I'll find you a graphic. I saw it on Instagram somewhere with the little circles. Consistency can look
nice. That's what, I always say, consistency doesn't mean being perfect. It just means you're doing it more than you're not doing it, So don't feel bad about messing up, doing a little bit less or whatever.
Maybe one day is a gentle walk on a treadmill or a light jog or a bit of stretching, and then another day maybe you go full send, you do massive deadlift and you do a functional fitness workout, and then maybe the day after that you do a bit of rowing on the rower, and obviously including rest days in this, and maybe the next session you're absolutely killing it again, and the next session you only give 40% of your effort because you're tired and work is getting overwhelming and your kids are going crazy and it's just hard. That's still consistency. Consistency isn't being perfect every single time.
I had a leg day 2 days ago and I really didn't want to do it. I really, really didn't. And I think I forgot to eat, and I forgot to take my medicine in the morning, so I was feeling weird at the gym, but I still went throughout my workout. I wasn't really able to do a lot more than what I wanted to, but I was still able to do enough and do stuff.
It's just putting the effort in every single time and you'll get massive results from that. And 9 years from now, the time will have flown and you've been I've spent the last 9 years of my life doing exciting sports that I've enjoyed or exciting forms of fitness that I've really liked. And your mental health will be better, your actual health will be better.
I've been exercising for about 10 years, maybe more. Exercise helps me have a more positive and calmer mindset.
and you'll be more skilled and more confident. There are so many things that you can gain from exercise, and we don't need to wait for motivation. You can just start with action, you can just turn up, and the motivation will probably arrive halfway through. A lot of people don't know that, but you'll probably get motivated while you're there, and that's what happened to me today. I saw somebody that I knew and we paired up to do.
That's so true. Even today, I was low energy and I was like, I think I'm just gonna go walk for like 10 minutes. And I'm just walking, and then I'm like, you know what? I just did calves and tibia yesterday, and I kind of want to. I kind of feel like I need to exhaust myself a little bit more. So I did chest, and actually a lot of people were on the stuff that I wanted to use today, so I had to go like off script, and so I just decided to do like burn sets of everything typically, and it was still a great workout, you know.
This workout was a workout class and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I do feel pretty tired right now, but I know that I'm going to feel better later on, and my mental health is going to be so much better because I went to the gym. Don't let another year pass without starting your fitness journey. If you want to start really small, check my link in the description for that 10-minute workout program, and you can build up from there. Even though I've been really consistent in my fitness journey, I made a lot of mistakes. If you'd like to hear about my 5 biggest regrets through my fitness journey, then watch this video next. Thank you for watching. I'm excited for you to continue on your fitness journey with this new mindset that you're gonna be consistent now. I hope that helped. See you next time. Bye.
Nice.
Bye. I've gone to the gym.
Nice. That was a great video. I think she has a lot of good information. I really enjoyed that. I think all the advice that she gave is like super solid, super good stuff. If you can't tell by this ridiculous video, it's for entertainment purposes only. Nothing here is meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. I'm just sharing my own opinions, not facts, off of publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please do not go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only.
It's just really weird to me that
Amberlyn did not shower.
when I take weeks off, all of a sudden, Zachary Michael is going through mental health problems.
You really want to talk about all of that? I was still streaming consistently on Twitch, even when your ass wasn't posting.
But the minute Amberlyn Reid posts, there's his reaction. He needs me.
This fucking bitch.
Violated. What? Hexacana